Closed until further notice. Abraham isn't there. No luck.
Aww. What happened to him?
Beep beep.
Good evening.
I'll go ask the Roadrunner.
Good evening, sir.
Why is the shop closed?
Do you know why Mr. Solomonovich's shop is closed?
No, I don't. Perhaps his cousin, the cobbler, knows. But I believe the police came to take his animals. I think that might have something to do with it.
Well, he
When
kept
was this?
fucking cobras!
The other day. The kids you were with the other day were there, they told me. They just came by to ask for some cat's meat. They didn't have any money, but I gave them some anyway.
Huh? Something wrong?
Is something wrong?
It's just that there was a little girl with them, the same age as mine. My little girl who went away with her mother, with the angels into the sky.
Beep,
Dr. Watson
beep.
told me about your loss. Please accept my condolences. Would you like to talk about it? How did it happen?
The illness, sir. My poor little girl was in agony, and her face and body were ravaged by the disease.
Her face?
Yes, she looked like a ghost.
What sickness?
What illness was it?
Dr. Gibbons tried to explain when I took my little girl to see him, but I didn't understand. I am sure that he was trying to insinuate it was my fault. I'm sorry, but I don't want to talk about it anymore.
I understand. Farewell. Let's go and see Dr. Gibbons.
You know, Beep Beep is really starting to look more and more like a suspect to me. Shaving cream rabbi! Alright, let's go talk to Dr. Gibbons, see what's going on. Lots of people snapping out. Hey, Doc. How's the ripping
Hello,
going?
Doctor. Do you remember me? I'm Sherlock Holmes, Dr. Watson's friend.
Oh, yes. Excuse the mess, but I am doing a bit of tidying.
This guy makes me think of the Doctor. And I mean the Doctor. I don't know why. Maybe it's just the accent and the clothes. The fact that I like him. He's probably trying to be the bad guy, isn't he?
I have come to see you about a Mr. Hardyman, a cat food seller by trade, who recently lost his daughter and wife.
Yes, I know him. A tragic story.
Actually, he reminds me a bit more of the Master now that I think about it. Which only makes things look worse.
Actually, I was hoping you could tell me about the disease that took his daughter, a disease that would have attacked her face.
Well, to keep it short, we are speaking of syphilis, Mr. Holmes. You must certainly know that it is transmitted through intimate connections and that the vast prostitute population here contributes to its inevitable progression. It destroys
That's what I thought it
individuals by
was.
spreading through the body slowly. The most obvious symptoms can be found in the genitalia and on the face in the form of pustules or lesions. Sometimes this illness can destroy whole families. The father catches it from a prostitute, he transmits it to his wife, who in her turn passes it to the kids which she bears or nurses. These cases are numerous in the vicinity. Certain children, and this is the case of the little girl whom I won't name, suffer from an emaciation of the face which will, apart from predicting an imminent death, bring infamy upon the family.
Interesting.
Emaciation of the face?
Yes, what we sometimes call the pox.
Smallpox.
I will give you a photograph. One cannot be mistaken on the origin of such a face. The eyes seem to be void of lids. The nose is inexistent, as if it was cut off. And the cheeks are chiselled, as if cut with a knife. This loss of facial matter, this emaciation, is in this area often the gift from a father to his children.
Can I keep this photograph?
I think we found Jackie! I think we found Jack! I think we found
Sometimes think
him!
twice before giving in to physical attraction.
I always seem to find myself alone in such cases. Thank you, Doctor.
Jesus Christ! My god, it's like a cast picture from Planet of the Apes. I suppose I probably shouldn't be making fun of it, though.
Let's go to the cobbler's.
Okay, so I think I've now found Jack the Ripper. He goes beep beep. Seriously, the profile fits. Profile fits. He gets around London just like that. Revenge against the prostitutes. I think we found it. It all fits. All fits. Which means it's not right, is it? Nope. It's not right. You know why? Because this is a Frogwares game. So as soon as I think I know what's going on, there's gonna be bullshit. Rabbi, help me.
Hello, Mr. Solomonovich.
Solomonovich.
Mr. Holmes, how are things with you?
Aye! You, got new contacts there, Abraham?
I heard your cousin Abraham had a problem with his shop. What happened?
He was selling cobras!
If I didn't know you well, I would tell you that it's Jewish business that doesn't concern anyone but the Jews. But as you have a little bit to do with it, you have the right to know what is going on.
Very much so. You are a very great man.
Someone had seen Abraham telling you something and making big gestures near the Imperial Club. A vicious rumor quickly spread, and it has caused him great injustice. A slanderous denunciation attracted the authorities' attention to my cousin's shop. Abraham must be in the process of answering their questions.
I did, indeed, speak with your cousin the other night. I'm shocked at the consequences of this discussion.
As I was saying, it's the story of the Jews. In the face of adversity, we are united, but amongst ourselves, it's like anywhere else. As soon as our people take a dislike to someone, for right or wrong, we can be without pity and quite cruel.
Just stop looking at me like that, please.
This is all very worrying. Your cousin knows one, or rather two, of the men who were at the Imperial Club on the night of the Mitre Square murder. One of the two, a butcher in Aldgate named Joseph, is probably withholding information of the utmost importance. I must find this man. Perhaps you can help me.
But there were
But
two
there
of
are
them!
dozens of Jewish butchers around Aldgate, half of which must be called Joseph. And you know, Mr. Holmes, we Jews prefer to remain in the background of this murderer business, this Jack the Ripper thing.
That's the
All of
problem!
London is pointing their fingers at us saying, it's a Jew who disemboweled these women. Our community is in great peril, you know. There was the business with Lipsky and Leather Apron. I will see what I can do, but I don't promise anything.
That's all I can ask for.
Grateful to you.
Goodbye. Stop looking at me with those eyes. Blink or something. Blink all the way.
Very well. We may meet again, Mr. Solomonovich.
You are most welcome, Mr. Holmes.
Please blink.
I've paced up and down Whitechapel enough. I should return to Baker Street in order to reflect on the new facts that I have discovered.
Can we figure out what I already just... Morning!
Yes, me lord.
Bavins! Bavins! Okay, I know he said to head back there, but looks like there are a few things that I can check out here. Which appears to be a sign, followed by another sign. So yeah, we're gonna head back to Baker Street here. Yeah. I think we figured it out. Map, please. Now, back to Baker Street! I'm not going to open my mouth, I'm just going to stick it in my face. Hope it'll clip through.
Hello, Holmes.
I'm invisible! Oh, no, I'm not. Well, I figured it out!
Good day, Watson.
Listen, Holmes, I know I should have got here sooner to give you a report on my research, but this case has led me to neglect my patients and my wife more than I care to admit. I've been able to sort things out over the last few days, and now I am ready to pursue this investigation.
You don't have to justify yourself, Watson. Whilst I do tolerate you as an observer, and despite your occasional help with more menial tasks, may I remind you that you are by no means an indispensable part of this case.
Oh, that's mean!
Tolerate me as an observer, do you? Oh, you're too much, Holmes. Well, Mr. Detective, despite my absence, I have been working on this case, putting my relationship on the line in the process. And I happen to have a confidential letter that only passed from one lord's hand to another. What it contains is extremely serious and concerns Dr. Tumblety and his collection of uteri.
Is that the
Let me
plural
see
form? Milord! be hereby assured that my entire collaboration of the affair, to which I must reply, no one will be able to cast a purporium on our institution or ourselves. Our intimate colleagues support our policies, and they won't cooperate with the police as long as the higher interests that we serve aren't menaced? As long as the higher interests that we serve aren't menaced. As you mentioned, we must avoid having to explain the uncultured masses of the something of medical research. A general crisis of confidence will result in the inevitable amalgamation that the press would hasten to create between this and the hideous murders committed at East End. To this end, I tactfully invoke the rumor that you mentioned in your letter. When I met with my colleagues, it turns out to have grounds, and these are specifics I was able to obtain. 18 months thence, an American doctor in London did, in fact, contact certain hospitals. His approach was aimed at getting stock of feminine genitalia, particularly uteri. He was motivated initially by the fanaticism of his research and its publication. The doctor in question wanted to include a uterus specimen freshly conceived in formalin with each of the research dissertations sent to each of his colleagues involved. A large quantity was thus necessary, and this doctor proposed to buy each of the uteri for £20 each. The hospital directors did not pay heed to these demands. That I've been assured. Between you and I, my lord, who knows what strange consequences would have followed these demands of the American doctor. The rumor of the unusual commissions made the tour of the hospitals in question at the times and has spread to others since. Simply, day laborers employed by our organizations considered that the gain of £20 could justify a theft, perhaps worse. The identity of the doctor is unknown to me, but based on the recall of my colleagues, this man had most impressive references. But after a bit of research that I did, I found the extents of any publication with... It's going to be Sigmund Freud, isn't it? No, wait, he was French. A publication with the eventual correlations of this side of the Atlantic. The man left London shortly after his pitch, it would seem. I cannot help but think that he has perhaps returned to London and has found someone who might furnish him with what he's looking for. Okay.
Excellent. This American could turn out to be of great use to use.
Use to use?
And that's not all. I did some research and finally found an illness that affects the genitalia and can, in certain cases, cause facial symptoms resembling the mutilations seen on the last victim. It is called, would you believe?
Syphilis!
Syphilis and the emaciation that can be seen in affected children. I have known that for days, Watson.
You really aren't necessary.
Listen, now you're already here, Watson, we may as well continue the investigation. Do you remember the map on which we established the area in which our killer lives? I think we should continue our study.
Okay. Boing.
Well, I discovered the case of another murder before that of Bucks Row. It happened in George Yard. We shall put it on the map in order to see if it corresponds to our area of research. We must place the murder of Martha Tabram in George Yard on the map.
Let's see. It could only go on the one place that's open.
That is where Martha Tabram's murder took place. There's no point going there. I already have all the information we need on that matter.
Okay.
You see, this murder took place in the area in which our killer lives, his
safe zone.
Nonetheless, there are two major differences between the murder of this Martha Tabram and that of Polly Nichols. Firstly, the blows inflicted are not the same.
And the second difference?
It follows on from a doctor's opinion. He claims two weapons might have been used, and if there is one group of people we absolutely must not trust in this business, it's doctors. Don't you agree, Watson? Abram's murder took place in an area where the murderer, whose cowardice is clear, was able to make a quick getaway, that is to say, near his home. For his second murder, he would have wanted to go further afield, so the police would not link these two cases. And as for the other murders, seeing the ineffectiveness of his last one, he headed in different directions to kill his victims while still staying in the vicinity and without going any further than necessary, and all the while planning his escape.